Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Testing.
How about
Hey, we are on.
now? Hey, Vincent. So good to see you after 4 weeks of lockdown. I see you have godfathered your hair. Maybe I should call you Vincenzo from now on.
Yeah, man. Say, nice microphone headset. You look like you're working at the McDonald's drive-thru.
Dude, don't mention it. I miss McD so much. The sausage and egg McMuffin.
Hey, I'll buy you breakfast once all this blows over.
Is that enough? I can't believe you've furloughed me after all these years of me helping you build up this YouTube channel from scratch. That was deep, man. Real deep. So anyway, I've been thinking about buying a new TV and maybe watch some 4K DVDs. But what brand should I go for? Samsung? LG? Sony? OLED or LED LCD?
I thought you were furloughed. How can you afford to buy a new TV?
Have you seen your Rolex lately?
You cheeky kid. I'll drive over and get it off you.
Whoa. You can't do that, man. Stay home. Save lives.
Hello everyone, Vincent here from HDTV Test here. I am a TV reviewer. One question that I frequently get from readers and viewers alike is what TV should I buy? So in this video, I'm going to break it down in very simple terms, depending on how you're going to use the TV to guide you towards your next television purchase, to steer you towards some TV brands that you should look out for. Now, because I'm based in the UK, I cannot review and test every single TV brand on the market. And also, I'm basically just riffing at the moment. I am winging it. I mean, with this sort of hairstyle, in the old days, my mates used to call me the wingman. But I really do digress because I cannot cover every single TV brand on the market. So if I forget to mention your brand or certain TV manufacturer, please excuse me. Just like every single attempt at an amicable breakup in the history of breakups almost always contains the phrase, "It's not you, it's me." So let's get into this sort of cheat sheet or ultimate guide that I've put together based on my more than 10 years of experience testing, calibrating, and reviewing televisions. So I'm going to break it down very simply. First of all, let's consider the size. If you want a TV that is larger than 77 inches in screen size, you should go for LED LCD. Below 77 inches, OLED should be your strongest consideration because of their self-emissive properties. But OLED currently is still very expensive above 77 inches. So the only OLED above 77 inches currently is the 88-inch OLED from LG, and it is 8K. It will probably cost around 30,000 to 40,000 pounds. So I doubt you will be considering that. So larger than 77 inches in screen size, you should go for an LED LCD. And in terms of LED LCD, there are two brands that pops to mind. Basically, Sony and Samsung. With Sony, you're going for accuracy, you're going for fidelity, more accurate processing when it comes to presenting the picture on screen. Whereas if you choose Samsung, you will be getting less blooming artifacts and less hallowing, but probably with a bit more crushed shadow detail and a less accurate picture overall. So that's from the point of view of size. And of course, if there are other special use cases, let's say if you are going to use your TV in a very bright room, when I say very bright room, I'm probably talking about, say, Florida or Dubai with, say, really large bay windows, there's no curtain, and you basically have no light control at all. In that case, I would always recommend to go for a high-end Samsung QLED television with their class-leading anti-glare filter, because their top tier anti-glare filter is basically like a black hole. It can actually combat reflections in a more effective manner than any other implementations on the market at this moment in time. And also because they are LED LCDs, these Samsung QLEDs, they are capable of very high light output that won't be overpowered by the very bright ambient lighting. So the first consideration I would always recommend in a very bright room is a high-end Samsung QLED with their class-leading anti-reflective filter. So some models would be the Samsung Q90R and this year's Samsung Q90T, Q800T, and their top-end Q950TS. And another special case that I can think of would be if you want an integrated bias lighting solution, I would probably recommend the Philips TVs. They have this integrated bias lighting solution called Ambilight. You can set it to change the color according to the content on screen or the sound, or if you are an enthusiast, you probably should set it to a D65 white, which is the standard that is used within the film and broadcast industry. And Ambilight technology is exclusive to Philips televisions. So if you want that sort of solution in your television, the first brand that should pop to your mind would be Philips in the UK and Europe certainly. Now, what we're going to do next is to base it upon usage. What sort of content you watch on your television. I think this is probably the key for me to try and recommend a certain TV brand. So I have divided the type of contents that you're going to consume on a television into three aspects. The first one would be movies, the second one would be sports, and the third one would be for playing games. So for movies, I think most of the TVs on the market would be good enough, but I think the best for movies in terms of a TV brand would be Panasonic. My first choice is always going to be Panasonic because of their class-leading color accuracy both before and after calibration. This is because of the work they've done with Hollywood studios with leading colorists such as Stefan Sonnenfeld. They have basically nailed their internal 3D LUT based on inputs from the Hollywood studios and also leading colorists. So when you get a Panasonic television, the first thing that strikes you, well, the first thing that struck me usually is how natural the image is, how accurate the skin tones are without it looking unbalanced, so to speak. So for watching movies, I think my first recommendation would be a Panasonic TV. But this is not to say that other TV brands are not good at this. I'm only recommending Panasonic because I think their internal 3D LUT, their inherent color accuracy is so good. And this is not only recently. This has gone back from the days of their plasmas. I've always been impressed by their color accuracy. When you measure them, they are just really, really accurate. The next thing to talk about would be sports. I think, with the pandemic going on at the moment, there's not much sports. Well, not much current sports to be watched. I mean, in the UK, the BBC has been airing some really old matches, just to evoke that nostalgic feeling to the days where we can kiss and hug. But I digress. And, you can back pass to the keeper and the keeper can pick up the ball. But for watching sports, when live sports eventually returns, I think you cannot get a TV that is better at presenting sports content than a Sony television. I mean, with Sony TVs, their motion processing has always been top-notch. I think, probably the best among all TV manufacturers on the market at the moment. And the reason is because their motion interpolation technology, I think they call it motion flow, is less prone to introducing artifacts, less prone to introducing, let's say, shimmering around players or balls, less prone to introducing frame skipping than any other motion interpolation technology on the market. So if you want to actually engage motion interpolation to get a higher motion resolution and reduce motion blurring when watching sports. And let's face it, when watching sports, motion blur is going to be the biggest issue. And if you want to get the most effective and least artifact-ridden motion interpolation system, you will have to go with Sony. And another aspect to consider when watching sports is basically screen uniformity. You don't want a TV that will have lots of banding or dirty screen effect, which will be very pronounced when you watch, let's say, a football match where the camera is panning from left to right of the field. Basically, these screen uniformity issues will stick out like a sore thumb. And I think Sony LED LCDs, the Z9F or ZF9, and also the ZG9 or Z9G, they have always impressed me in terms of how clean it is for an LED LCD. And naturally, with OLED, they have better bright uniformity than LED LCDs. But certainly, in terms of motion handling, I recommend going for a Sony branded television. Last but not least, we come to gaming, which is increasingly important for many people out there, especially if you are stuck at home, you've got nothing to do, if you don't need to homeschool, and you just want to play some games. And for playing games, I cannot see past the LGs, specifically the LG OLEDs, because I think most of LG's LED LCDs are still based on IPS technology, and IPS technology generally have lower contrast than VA type panel, let alone OLED. So when I recommend LG for gaming, I'm basically talking about their OLED displays, and you will have most of the attributes that gamers really dream of. Really low input lag, 13 milliseconds in game mode for 60p signal at 120 Hz, probably going down to 6.5 milliseconds. You have variable refresh rate, G-Sync compatibility. You will have OLED's self-emissive properties of near instantaneous pixel response time, and 4K at 120 Hz support for gamers out there. And maybe you want to pair it up with the Xbox Series X or PS5 coming out later this year. I genuinely cannot see past the LG OLEDs at this moment in time. And also they're coming out with a 48-inch version, which may be more suitable for placing on a desktop, maybe slightly further than what you would use as a monitor. But I think when it comes to recommending a TV for gaming, I cannot see past the LG OLEDs. Now, this is not to say that the Panasonic and the Sony and the Samsungs are bad for gaming. I'm just recommending a certain TV brand because they are the best in class for that particular usage. So when you're buying your television, just try and think how you're going to use the TV and go for certain TV brands. So that is just a very quick guide on how you should buy your next television. If you have found this video useful, please click the like button and subscribe to the HDTV Test YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.